So 2 years ago, Zendesk was still largely seen as a customer support software company. Today, it wants to become an AI company generating nearly $2 billion in AI ARR by 2029. And according to Zendesk, President and CRO Chris Donato, they are already moving faster than expected. At Zendesk Relate 2026 in Denver, the company unveiled what it calls an autonomous service workforce. AI agents that can resolve customer issues, answer voice calls, automate workflows, and even interact across platforms like ChatGPT. But you know what? Here's the bigger story. According to Chris Donato, Zendesk closed last year with roughly $200 million in AI ARR, representing over 120% year-on-year growth. Now, the company says it expects to hit somewhere between $450 million to $500 million in AI ARR this year alone. And the long-term target is quite aggressive. Zendesk plans to grow AI revenue at nearly 100% every year, putting the company on track for approximately $1 billion in AI ARR by 2028 and nearly $2 billion by 2029. It is a massive transition for a company that historically operated around seat-based customer support licensing. Now, the company is shifting toward what it calls outcome-based pricing. So in simple terms, customers don't just pay for software seats anymore. They now actually pay when AI resolves the problems. Chris Donato told AIM that enterprises today often spend anywhere between $5 to over $10 per customer interaction. And Zendesk believes autonomous AI can dramatically reduce those costs while increasing resolution quality. And internally, the numbers are already becoming difficult to ignore. Zendesk says more than 60% of its owner customer support interactions are now automated using AI agents. So while customer satisfaction scores have increased significantly, and this is exactly why actually Zendesk Relate 2026 feels important, because this year's event is Zendesk publicly repositioning itself as an AI infrastructure company for customer and employee service. At Relate 2026, Zendesk unveiled its new resolution platform and the broader autonomous service workforce. The company introduced specialized AI agents, voice AI systems, agent builder for no-code AI workflows, MCP integrations, AI co-pilots for admins, analysts, and support agents, LLM native support experiences through ChatGPT. So one of the more interesting shifts is Zendesk embracing MCP, Model Context Protocol, allowing AI systems to connect directly with external tools and enterprise workflows without heavy integration overhead, which essentially means Zendesk is preparing for a future where AI agents talk to other AI agents, not just humans. In fact, Zendesk CEO Tom Eggemeyer openly said at Relate that within the next few years, the majority of interactions could become AI agent to AI agent interactions, which changes everything about how customer service software is going to get built. What's of course taking shape here, if you can see, is bigger than Zendesk, because companies across the enterprise software industry are now trying to answer the same question, which is if AI agents can autonomously resolve support tickets, answer voice calls, and execute workflows, then what exactly becomes the product? Zendesk's answer appears to be this. The product becomes the orchestration layer for autonomous AI workforces. And if Zendesk actually reaches nearly $2 billion in AI ARR by 2029, it would validate that enterprises are willing to spend massive amounts of money on AI native customer operations. And of course, on the sidelines of Zendesk Relate 2026 in Denver, now in its fourth edition, by the way, AIM spoke exclusively with Zendesk CRO Chris Donato about outcome-based pricing, AI revenue growth, automation rates, and why Zendesk believes autonomous service could fundamentally reshape enterprise support. So if you're ready, let's listen in.
So directly I'll dive into the questions. So there is nothing.
Yeah, it's okay.
So yeah, Chris, we'll start with the outcome-based pricing, right?
Yep.
So that is the highlight of Zendesk here. So I want to know what are the unit economics for enterprises and how does Zendesk benchmark ROI for the new outcome-based model? That's the
So,
first. Yeah.
so I mean, most enterprises are paying anywhere from $5, $6 to maybe even over $10 per interaction. And so with our technology and the outcome-based pricing, where we're priced at initially, and of course the value we're driving, it allows us to lower that significantly. And it is a great model from the standpoint of a shared risk approach with our customers. I mean, they're driving value, they're going to invest. If we're not driving value, they're not going to invest. And so when you combine that with our ability to lower the cost structure, it provides a really strong solution and a competitive advantage for us in the market.
Got it. Is the entire industry shifting towards this particular model, or I just want to know the internal story behind when you switched this. What was it like? What was the call internally that, okay, we have to get this done through the outcome?
Good. That's a very good question.
Yes.
So about 2 years ago, we made the announcement
Correct.
to the market, 24. We were the first to go out. Certainly, still today, one of the largest tech organizations that's really still pushing on this strategy.
Amazing.
Yes, competitors had followed.
Amazing.
They saw the light at the end of the tunnel that they need to think about doing something.
Got it.
But we were the first to put the stake in the ground. And what led us there is that traditionally, we've been a very strong innovator in service, a company that's for the last 2 decades has been developing new technologies and capabilities. But it became clear that as you go forward, we were seat-based in our licensing.
Correct.
And customers are trying to understand how they move away from buying more seats for agents. How do we create more automation? How do we get closer to the customer in doing this as well? And that was a headwind that we had to deal with. So it became obvious that we needed to rethink our approach to the market, and this was the strategy and path that we took. And today we continue to look at how we can expand the use of outcome-based pricing, certainly across our products, which we're doing, but even across human-led type of approaches as well.
Amazing. That's a good one. So I was just reading one of the, insights. I don't know where it is from, but it says that 79% of CEOs believe that they could lose their jobs within next 2 years if they fail to deliver measurable business gains from AI. And there's obvious reasons from the investors, which says like part of this is, either pressure over ROI versus FOMO. Being at the front seat, when you see your customers grappling through all of this, how do you view this entire scenario in terms of, should they go for ROI versus FOMO? What would you tell them?
Well, I think most customers' interactions that we have are certainly they want efficiency.
Amazing. Okay.
Certainly they want efficiency. But the bigger priority is how they get closer to their customers and serve their customers at a different level. And the fact is, AI provides the ability to take all those tier 1 and tier 0, tier 1 type of use cases and automate those and drive 80% resolution rates. And then gives you the opportunity to take your agents and apply them to the most critical, loyal, complex use cases and interactions that you may have with the customer. So it's a very an approach and a strategy that works very, very well. And it's one where there is some change management and best practice that is required. And I think it's one thing we've evolved to over time, where we are much more consultative with our approach. So our innovation is strong. Our positioning, we like the way that we're positioning, but ultimately helping our customers build a knowledge base, helping our customers with best practice around AI agents.
Understood.
Helping our customers with change management.
Understood.
And when you start doing those things combined with the technology, you get strong ROI.
Amazing. So within Zendesk, I heard Tom talking about, right? So almost like 60% of customer experience, like support experience within Zendesk has been automated. Yes. That's pretty interesting. Yes. And also, what is talking
drinking our own champagne.
Amazing. So what is the remaining 40%? Where is the gap there?
Well, first of all, always keep in mind,
Got
we're
it.
B2B
Got it.
versus B2C. Typically with B2C, you'll see resolution rates hit that 80+%.
Correct.
B2B, typically 40, 45, maybe 50. We're at 60. We're actually higher than 60.
Amazing.
Not to correct our CEO. But it's basically some of the other areas are just customers going through some other channels that we haven't automated yet.
Understood.
When you consider that where we were, you consider that we're in that B2B space. And actually our CSAT has gone way up.
Correct.
And our NPS has improved dramatically as well.
Amazing.
So we've seen dramatic improvements across those different metrics as well.
Got it. Final question. So, I mean, you have already hit AI revenue of 200 million ARR, right? From the last
250.
250 to be precise. And you're planning to touch more than 500 million ARR in
We
the
believe
coming
will be 450 to 500 this year.
450 to 500, right? So I just want to ask, like, what growth, I mean, you're also releasing autonomous service workforce, that particular, right? That is coming from only AI revenue per se, like across 3 categories is what Tom mentioned. So I want to understand, like, what growth targets has Zendesk set for the first 18 months post the launch? Do you have any numbers
Well,
there?
let me answer it this way.
Sure.
And hopefully this helps. So we finished the year.
Correct.
So we just finished our first quarter. We finished the year at 200 million.
Correct.
Which was a 130-ish%, 128% jump from the year before. So very significant. Our stated direction is we're going to grow 100% a year. We believe we'll beat that, as I said, this year, because we believe we'll be 450 to 500 this year, which is more than 100%. But our plan is to grow 100% every year. So that'll put us right around $1 billion of AI revenue by the beginning of 28.
Got it.
And then we grow 100%. That puts us, as we get into 29, at $2 billion.
Amazing.
And it is amazing because when you consider where we were and now the impact that that's having as a percentage of our bookings and our revenue, it's very significant. At $1 billion, you're talking about close to 40% plus of our revenue is tied to AI.
Amazing.